Hi everyone, Cousin It from the Addams Family here, with Rhyme Signatures, the nerdiest music review this side of Piccadilly Circus in the summer of 1973. And today we're going to be doing a review of the new Big Big Train album, Welcome to the Planet. Big Big Train, or well, BBT, to save myself a few precious syllables here, are an English progressive rock band, and they've been around since the early 90s now. And they've been through no small amount of lineup changes over the course of their storied career, falling into quite a distinct set of eras or iterations of the band, each of which feels kind of like a distinct chapter in their history. The most recent of which, of course, has been the David Longdon era, which tragically was cut short late last year when David sadly and unexpectedly passed away. The loss of a man of this talent has really shaken the world of progressive rock, and my most heartfelt sympathies do go out to both his family and his friends. It was this era that I myself was first introduced to the band with the English Electric albums from the early 2010s, and I was instantly hooked on Longdon's smooth and low vocals, along with the complex and interesting compositions from the rest of the band, and shockingly really for the genre of progressive rock, just how catchy and poppy some of their songs could actually be. Every time the band announced a new record, it was like a little Christmas present to me, as I knew I would always have something to look forward to later in the year. And Longdon's vocals, honestly, would just greet me every time like a friendly uncle, really ready to tell me his stories about his life and impart some worldly knowledge and wisdom. It's really genuinely upsetting to know that this is the last official recording that we're ever going to hear him perform on. It does come as some consolation, then, at least, that this is an absolutely wonderful send-off to one of the best voices in modern progressive rock. David is, as expected, on top form here. His tone is warm, lush, and it carries a comforting self-assurance that I've always loved in BBT's music. Welcome to the Planet is easily my favourite BBT album since the duo of English Electric 1 and 2. Its only real failing is that, for better or worse, it does stick quite comfortably to the blueprint of this particular era of the band. That is to say, emulating the typical greats of the 1970s, albeit with a bit of a more of a modern sheen and polish in terms of its production. However, Welcome to the Planet does manage to avoid some of the more common pitfalls of the recent slew of neo-prog bands, in that for every moment of 70s worship, it also manages to demonstrate a more exciting, inventive, and really experimental side that genuinely marks BBT out as a creation unto themselves. The typical upbeat BBT positivity that we've come to expect from their opening numbers is on full display here with Made from Sunshine, which is about as cheerful and major key as the name suggests. And it's a great way to start the album and genuinely fill me with really good energy, similar to that of Alive off of their 2019 album Grand Tour. It's a really solid foundation for what we can come to expect off the record, as the overall feel of Welcome to the Planet is that of hopefulness in the face of everything that the world's been going through these past couple of years. We kind of need that really these days, don't we? This sentiment, of course, was obviously started with last year's Common Ground, and it's been carried over really nicely here. There is a bit of a break in tradition, though, as we have got a couple of instrumental tracks on this album. Really lets the band break loose from typical song structures, and these two tracks demonstrate a fantastic degree of creativity and fun, especially the manic and really playful Bats in the Belfry, which is a particular highlight for me and easily one of my favourite BBT songs since Judas Unrepentant from English Electric Part 1. I've got to admit, though, when the band announced this album so soon after the release of last year's Common Ground, I was a little sceptical, making the assumption, of course, that this was going to be kind of the B-sides to that previous record. And honestly, the dramatically similar album art really didn't do much to assuage my fears in that regard. Given that I also didn't really enjoy Common Ground that much. Well, certainly not when compared to the album that preceded it, Grand Tour. I was a little cautious going into Welcome to the Planet, to be honest with you. I was a little sort of, But I am extremely pleased to be able to say, though, that this definitely feels, well, for me at least, like it's the A-grade album to the B-grade one that came out last year, rather than the other way around. There's just so much to love on this album, with so many incredible songs that I really do feel will become classics in the BBT pantheon as time goes on. The first half of the record, not quite as strong as the latter, but you can kind of forgive this when you've got tracks like the Catchy as All Hell Connection Plan, featuring some really strong melodies and excellent chorus work on it. The latter half of the album, though, is what really makes this album stand out, with excellent listens such as the delightful Proper Jack Froster, with its lyrical content of kind of a whimsical childhood winter story. Do yourself a favour though, make sure you check out the official music video for this one, as there is a really, really stunning animation that's been done for this song, and it just fits the music so well. The earlier mentioned Bats in the Belfry, though, follows up with belting at this great 1,000 milligrams of pure creativity and serotonin, showing off some fantastic musical styles and ideas that seem kind of new to BBT, but they handled them with aplomb. The album kind of then just sort of brings us back down a little bit more to some more traditional, grounded sounding styles that we've come to expect from the band with Oak and Stone, before capping off the album with the title track of Welcome to the Planet. It's this title track, honestly, that threw me the most on this album, sounding like nothing we've had before on a Longdon era album. Newcomer to the band, Carly Bryant, takes up the majority of the microphone here, and the sheer power and range in this woman's voice honestly just took my breath away. She's an extraordinary talent, and the combination of her voice with the lyrics, especially in the wake of the tragic loss of Longdon, really gave me my first musically induced tears of the year. The creative side of BBT also really comes out heavy in this song, fusing some gospel sounds, some circus-like music, some spoken word passages thrown in here and there, and what feels like both the end of an era and the birth of something new, bold, and really adventurous. It's hard to say, even hazard a guess really, where BBT will go from here. The loss of David Longdon is something I personally will feel for years to come, but his memory will live on forever in the stunning art he has created with the band during his time here. It does feel like they've only just begun to scratch the surface of what they're capable of creatively, and whatever BBT do next, I will be waiting ready and quite eagerly. So, Welcome to the Planet, a fantastic swan song, and surely the start of whatever is to come next. The only thing, like I say, that really holds this album back is that it's a little derivative in places, but that can easily be forgiven for the creative leaps taken in other parts of its runtime. Definitely check this one out. It's got to be one of the fastest 47 minutes I've ever listened to. This is all, of course, my opinion, as you know, so tell me what you thought of the record in the comments down below. If you like this video, please do share it with anyone who you might think enjoy it, and please consider subscribing for more content. Until next time, keep your rhyme signatures odd.